Things moving really fast, but right over the top of us.
Thousands and thousands of pilots worldwide have actually seen anomalous objects in the sky that they can't explain.
You got me already.
Now, people who already believe in aliens are going to know these things, so this is for people who don't yet believe, and maybe they'll consider it after hearing what I have to say. So, an American Airlines pilot saw something mysterious recently during a flight from Cincinnati to Phoenix. This was just on Sunday.
And even now, it's still not clear what exactly it was.
Audio of an American Airlines pilot who saw something strange as he was flying towards Sky Harbor Airport just last Sunday.
Have any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of them.
Now, what's interesting about this, American Airlines confirmed that audio as authentic and then referred all media questions to the FBI. Erica, what's going on here? What did he see?
Now from the 19th, we are just a couple of weeks away from the 24th anniversary of the Phoenix lights in the sky.
That strange sight has led to ongoing mystery and intrigue about unidentified flying objects. And now there's been another UFO sighting involving an American Airlines crew that was flying to Phoenix.
The American Airlines pilot of Flight 2292 radioed in at 1 p.m. Central Time, reporting an object flying right on top of them.
What did he see? And then, yeah, I'd be interested to know. It couldn't have been a missile. I think I was reading it, it couldn't have been, but I don't know.
Close to Roswell this happened, so you never know when you get close to Roswell what might be up there.
And this comes just a year after the Pentagon released 3 videos of unidentified flying objects, you may know them as UFOs, recorded by Navy fighter pilots. It also comes in the same year as an astronomer at Harvard named Avi Loeb says, affirmatively, aliens have visited. He's not kidding. So the FBI got back to me today. They say they are aware of the reported incident, but it is their policy not to confirm nor deny any of their investigations, which of course only makes this all that much more mysterious.
We begin tonight with breaking news, new developments in that moment of terror over Denver.
Airplane manufacturer Boeing is calling for the grounding of more than 100 of its 777 jets worldwide following an engine failure.
After an engine exploded just after takeoff.
Shortly after takeoff in the U.S. state of Colorado, the plane's right engine blew apart, raining debris on homes near Denver Airport.
Huge chunks of debris raining down on a neighborhood below.
Dr. Lynn Kitai knows a thing or two about UFOs. She's one of the most outspoken voices on the Phoenix Lights phenomenon and says she snapped pictures of these cylindrical objects in the East Valley herself 20 years ago, perhaps similar to what the pilot saw.
But just because we don't have the technology yet to definitively define what these things are, it doesn't mean they're not real.
Mayday, mayday, aircraft just experienced a engine failure, need to turn to me.
And all of a sudden there was just a big boom, and the ring around the engine flew off.
A person familiar with the situation telling ABC News NTSB investigators will focus on what they call a possible uncontained engine failure, where pieces of the engine fly out, a rare occurrence.
And it's there that they'll be asking the big questions, because these engines are clearly failing ahead of time. There have been 3 incidents involving the engines on 777s in just a few years.
it was just scary. It almost felt like an earthquake.
From Salem to Peabody,
I couldn't believe the sound. It was like a big screeching. It was horrifying.
And in Beverly and Lynn, too, mysterious explosions heard and felt on the North Shore.
It was just extremely loud and it shook the whole floor.
Emily lives in Salem. She was working from home when all of a sudden, around 11:30 noon on Tuesday, she heard a loud boom.
It sounded like something in my basement exploded.
And a similar situation for Pauline Baldwin in Peabody near Forest and Summit Streets. She says her house shook violently.
I actually thought something was coming through my house. My house was shaking. It had tremors. When I ran from one end of my house to the other end of my house. That's how scared I was.
Out himself as a believer. According to
nerve-wracking.
She says her house shook.
I ran from one end of my house.
And asked where it came from, and also reached out to other.
Like an answer to what happened, because it's very nerve-wracking.
you're not alone if you believe little green men from outer space live amongst us. According to Israel's former space program leader, I'm Eshed, aliens are already here and living amongst us.
There go Esau with their bullshit. Gonna let us place them on our posts and precepts.
But the 87-year-old isn't the only scientific leader to out himself as a believer.
You see how they got the scriptures in this. This guy that actually posted this one video. Said, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And we do. So you go through different things in life. Dealing with people, dealing with your family, your women, jobs, just stuff on a day-to-day basis. Having dreams and visions, night terrors, all that stuff. I ain't even gonna play the rest of this video. I just want to show what people have been seeing around the world and get into the scriptures before I get into them all the way. So call all y'all Bashim, show them to the left. Now in this video, what you actually seeing are the actual chariots. They call them UFOs or UAPs, spaceships. And the answer to what they really are is all throughout the scriptures. I'm going to just go to this one first and I'm going to jump around a little bit. To the book of Acts, and then I jump to the book of Revelation. That's the book of Acts, chapter 1. Chapter 1, verse 11, it says, but I'm sorry, verse 10, it says, and while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel. They ain't talking about no aliens. They're talking about the actual angels. It says, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye up gazing into heaven? The same Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner, as ye have seen him go into heaven. When you watch these different films, let me just pull up the image real quick. Watch these different films, they actually have some type of imagery or visual of this. Let me just pull this up real quick. It's basically something similar to what they were seeing. It just had angels on the side of them as he was going up. And it's just, you could just imagine looking at something like this, especially back in those times. So it said the same way he was going up. Let's read that one more time. It said, this same Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as you have seen him go into heaven. That's why Esau got his Space Force. Because they ultimately want to fight what's out there. They so proud and they think they can actually fight it. But it ain't going down like that, man. He had this one video, or this clip of this video. They was actually recording how they fly. They was flying completely against the laws of physics. Esau can't fight that, man. These Idumeans, they can't fight what's out there. They can't fight something that's angelic. I'm going to go into this. Book of Revelation. Book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7. It says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierce him, and all kindreds of earth shall wail because of him, even so among. Now, it's off topic. Those who seen him died thousands of years ago, which means they would have to be born again and be able to see him in these times that we approach him, because this haven't happened yet. So reincarnation is in the Bible, if you actually could perceive it and understand it. Or some can't, though. That's still far-fetched to some people. They don't understand how Most High can put your spirit in another vessel. Now I'm going to go to some more precepts. I don't want to stretch this out too long, just get into stuff about the chariots and how it's mentioned all throughout the scriptures. Now, in the beginning of this video, when the lady, let me go to the actual image. The lady said she took photos of cylindrical objects. Let me see. So I can find this, I can go inside. The lady said she's seen cylindrical objects. Well, here go a prime example of cylindrical objects right here. It's in the book of Zechariah, chapter 5, verse 2. But I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, then I turned and lifted up my eyes, and I looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then he said unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it. Everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. Because you always have these Edomites saying, oh, this is a God-fearing country, and God bless America, and all this other stuff. They don't really honor the Most High. They don't really practice putting the laws in place. They got their own laws. Now it says, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof, and the stones thereof. And it's mighty ironic how all these planes been going down too, simultaneously while all this happening. Let me go down some more real quick and see. It's another precept I want to get. This book of Zechariah, chapter 6, verse 1. It says, and I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, there came 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains. And the 2 mountains were mountains of brass. Now, everybody know ain't no mountains and no brass on the earth. These ships that he was seeing, they look like mountains of brass. So them some huge ships. And me personally, I've seen chariots that actually look like that color. They had a green barrel looking color on them. They actually have those type of looking lights. They actually look like brass or some type of metallic color. So this not nothing made up, man. The most I put all this stuff out for our learning's sake, and so we can edify others at the same time. And ultimately, it's for the elect, man. That's what it all boils down to, the elect. It's like a like a VIP thing. Because if everybody can get it, it wouldn't be special. And that's something definitely very, real special. When I was younger, I used to see those ships and stuff too. I used to wonder like why I get to see stuff like that. And you just have to thank the Most High, man. Some people, they still don't even believe in this stuff. They don't even think this stuff exists. Even now with Esau showing images like this, we go back a little bit more. Images like this, videos, live recordings. Now you have people actually recording this stuff all over the earth. People still don't believe it, man. And that's why I say in the book of Revelation, every eye shall see, because everybody gonna see it. Ain't gonna be no denying it then. I'm gonna go to some more precepts real quick. It's the book of Ezekiel. Let me see. Okay, here we go right here. Book of Ezekiel chapter 1. Let's just read on down. Read on down and see exactly where I want to start at, because this chapter is like one of my favorite chapters too. We'll start at verse 11. It said, "Thus were their faces, their wings were stretched upward, two wings of every one were joined one to another, and two covered their bodies, and they went everyone straight forward. Whither the Spirit was to go, they went, and they turned not when they went." Talking about the chariots, that's why you got something like this. Those are spiritual vehicles. They don't move with no gas or no solar panels or none of that shit. Let me see, let me go down some more. It says in verse 13, "As for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire and like the appearance of lamps." Now, I pulled this up in a recent video. Let me just type in how Esau portrayed the angels to look. Now this don't look like no burning coals right here. You see they have like a little aura around it. They try to put the aura and stuff on it. This don't look like no burning coals. That's not what the scripture said, man. Let me scroll down some more just to pull a few more images. That don't look like no burning coals right there. Now I'm typing burning coals. Now, if you see an angel and they look like this, where they get this from? And that's why the book of Job say that. Earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, and not wherein who is it? That's what they do, man. They mask everything, everybody white. Let them tell it. Everybody's pale, so to speak. And that's supposed to be one of the archangels. That's Esau for you, man, with that bullshit. But see, people gonna actually see this. A lot of people, that's why it's another scripture that says, hold on, let me go to it real quick. One minute. Sure, let me see if this is the exact one I'm looking for. Okay, here we go. It's in the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 25. That's what I'm going to start up. It says, There should be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars, and upon the earth to stress the nations with perplexity to see in the ways wrong, which you actually have happening now. Stuff going on over there in Syria. This don't got cooked back up some more. It was a little quiet for a minute with the stuff with Iran and them talking about the nuclear scientists and that top general. Now stuff getting stirred up even more. Now verse 26 it says, men's heart failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And hey, that Space Force shit gonna get shook up.